Hello, welcome back to the second installment of this fantastical two-part series that I've created for myself and this channel. Hi, I'm Michaela. This is my channel, I live here. Welcome. So if you haven't seen like the prerequisite video, this may make minimal sense, anything I'm saying. So if you haven't watched it and you want to, feel free to go check out my best rated books on Goodreads. The TLDR of it is that there was a lot of Harry Potter and a lot of Sarah J Maas. For the arguably more exciting installment, we have the worst rated books on Goodreads. Aforementioned, I have been on Goodreads for something like 11 or 12 years, like a significant period of time. Almost half my life. Just scary. Are you right? So there will be some doozies today. I had a sneaky little peek and there are some that just, I don't remember reading them. I don't remember what they're about. Whew, here we go. So we are starting with our 5 honorable mentions, as we did last time. But instantly looking at this, we have some books that I read a very long time ago. I mentioned it in the last one, but Goodreads has an interesting rating system in which you cannot rate in 0.25s, 0.5s, or 0.75s. In Storygraph you can, so I also have one of those. I'll leave both linked down below. However, with Goodreads, because it is such a popular platform and because it is an Amazon platform, there are a lot of people that are accessing this who may have some biased opinions of things, and so we get some interesting ratings with Goodreads. I'm gonna call it the ones that are probably at the bottom of the list are affected a bit less than the top of the list, because the top of the list is dominated by popular authors, which obviously the popular authors are going to get read more. The less read books are going to be on the lower end of the list. This is my hypothesis for it. They may represent a more accurate reflection of the quality of the book. That is the hope. We will find out. So coming in at number 15, we have Landline by Rainbow Rowell. I distinctly remember reading this for my first readathon that I did. I think it was a week-long readathon. It was 7 books in 7 days. That was one of them. I think I enjoyed it. I was having a Rainbow Rowell kick at that point in time. So this has a 3.54 average rating and it has 161,713 ratings on it. I apparently rated it a 4. I must have liked it back in the day. Cannot confirm that that would still be my rating at this point in my life. But younger Michaela had different ideas. I was on YouTube at this point as well, so that would have been around about 2016-ish. And then coming in at number 14, we have An Abundance of Catherines by John Green. Again, was on a bit of a YA kick, had a John Green box set, read Abundance of Catherines, would not have picked it up otherwise. Apparently I like this one too. I also rated it a 4, but it has an average rating of 3.54. No, it's the same, it's exactly the same, but it has significantly more ratings of 503,000. I personally find John Green's novels average. I love John Green as a person and I love John Green's non-fiction. I just don't love his fiction books, and I don't know if that's just me. I think it is because everyone else seems to like him. And then number 13, we have Harry Potter and the Cursed Child parts 1 and 2, which I rated 2 stars. There was a lot of controversy around this when it first came out. I have since heard that the screenplay that it was based on was actually like quite good, and that the staging of it and all of like the play stuff was quite good. However, this was not. This has an average of 3.53, so it's that little bit lower than the other two, and it has 884,000, so significantly more. And then this is kind of where we get into the books that I don't remember any of the plots. So this is number 12. We have Crust by Ali Condi. This is actually the second book in her series. I think the first one was Green, Matched. Is that it? This sat in that realm of dystopian young adult fiction books in that divergent period of time. Never finished the series, never read number 3, but I rated it a 3, so I didn't love it apparently, and that's relatively reflective of the 3.52 average that it has. And then moving up, we have The Edge of Everything by Jeff Giles. I don't know which one it is. I rated this 4 stars. I did really like this, and I particularly liked my copy of it. I'm going to show you. It has sprayed orange edges, which is just super cool. I remember when I read it, it had only just come out. I immediately wanted the second one, but I obviously couldn't get it because it wasn't out yet. And then I never read the second one, and now I think that it's actually on my book depository wish list. And it has been there for years, because the second one's been out for years. I rated this 4, it has a 3.51 and it only has 6,500 ratings. That is the lowest I have seen, to be followed up by the next one. And then the one after that. Wow, okay, this is where we really like get into the nitty gritty of the ones that haven't been read that much. So this is now where we get into the lowest 10. Like that's all the honorable mentions, that's the 5. Coming in at number 10 we have, oh boy, Zenith Part 1 by Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummings. I read Zenith, the first part of it, when it was first released, when Sasha was first writing it, because I was so into that side of booktube at that point in time that I would have read anything that she had written. I rated it 5 stars apparently, but it has an average of 3.49, which upon reflection and like knowing what I know about it, I probably would have reflected it as that, but because I was just like 10 out of 10 obsessed at that point in time, I would have rated it 5 no matter what it was. And then I never actually finished it either. I remember reading the first part that came out and then I never read the rest of it once the book was actually released. Number 9 is The Dangers of Truffle Hunting by Sunny Overend. I read this because it was given to me as an ARC. I rated this 2. I hated it. I really didn't like it. It was kind of like one of the first books that I read that it was dipping my toes into like contemporary adult fiction that wasn't young adult fiction. Didn't fully understand the whole concept of like adult romances. The plot was not strong though, and I think that that's why I rated it a 2. I hated it. It was more miscommunication, which as we know is not my favorite. It has an average of 3.47 and only 859 ratings. That is absolutely the lowest one I've seen yet. Number 8 I haven't rated and have apparently read. It is The Struggle by L.J. Smith, which is one of the Vampire Diaries books. I read the Vampire Diaries series when the Vampire Diaries TV show first was released, which makes me feel so incredibly old. My youngest sister came up to me yesterday and said, hey, I have a party I'm going to tonight. Do you have anything that is old clothing from the 2010s that will make me look like Elena Gilbert? And I legitimately had to sit there and just like evaluate myself and be like, do I? Because I know that I went to a party as Elena Gilbert at one point in my life. I didn't rate this, so I don't actually know what I thought of it, but it has an average rating of 3.45 and about nearly 40,000 ratings. This is one of the sequels, or it is half of the first. I don't know the structure of these, and I never finished the series once again. Coming in at number 7, we have About Grace by Anthony Doerr. Another book that I hated. I don't even know why I rated this a 2. I struggled to get through this book just from day one, and I was listening to it via audiobook as well, which is like the most easiest passive ingestion of a story, and I nearly DNF'd it. Again, I hadn't really exposed myself all that much to adult fiction books, and that's primarily what this is. However, none of the characters were likable in my mind. This has an average of 3.43, well deserved. The next ones are interesting. I believe we're up to 6 potentially. Is Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline. I did not expect that to go so low in the list. Wow. So this is an average of 3.43. I rated it a 4, and I actually think that if I go into it, I may have rated it slightly. Yeah, I actually rated this a 3.5. It wasn't a strong sequel, and I do remember that I had to force myself to get through it. So that's like relatively reflective. Well done, Goodreads. Proud of you. The next one, wow, what a curveball. We have Better Together by Christine Riccio. If you don't know Christine, she is another booktuber who has been around since like the OG of time on booktube. She's one of the originals. She wrote a book, and then this is not the sequel, like this is her second book that she has written. I really enjoyed Better Together. I had a fun time reading it. I think this has received a lot of criticism because of Christine's stance in the booktube community and then the subsequent influence that that has. It wasn't like an amazing book, but also it was fun. The amount that I enjoyed this book is reflective of my rating of it. So I actually rated this 5 stars. Because it was one of those books that like it got me in this chair specifically. I just sat there and I read, and I couldn't stop reading it, and I wanted to get to the end of the book, and it kept me engaged, it kept me engrossed. I was having a fun time. It hasn't got that good of a rating. It's got 3.42, but in saying that, only 3,000 people have actually rated it on here. So I disagree with this one. We were going so strong, Goodreads. We were going so well. All right, and then we have another Vampire Diaries. This is The Awakening. I genuinely don't know what number order this is in. Again, I haven't rated it, but it has a 3.37. And then we have, oh, another book that I hated, reflected by my 1-star review. And I believe that this is our number 3. This is Oh Dear Sylvia by Dawn French. I really disliked the main character in this book. It's kind of like a murder whodunit, I think, or a death whodunit. some kind of whodunit that I didn't whodunit at all. I rated this 1, it has an average of 3.26, which I believe is generous. Then we have, next is The Fever by Megan Abbott. I believe that this was a thriller. I actually don't remember too much about this one, but I think it was another arc that I was given. I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. It has a 3.1 average, which is low. And then, what, coming in at our number 1 worst rated book on Goodreads is a book that I have zero recollection of actually reading, outside of the fact that I read it as a buddy read with one of my best friends. Tape by Stephen Camden. I rated this a 3, apparently, out of 5. So in 1993, Ryan records a diary on an old tape. He talks about his mother's death, about his dreams, about his love for a new girl at school who doesn't even know he exists. Oh, the angst. In 2013, Amelia moves in with her grandmother, and after her parents die, she finds the tape with the boy's voice on it. She can't quite hear, but it seems to be speaking to her. They're connected by more than just a tape. It's giving me 13 Reasons Why vibes. It's giving me 13 Reasons Why early John Green vibes. I don't think I liked it. I'm pretty sure I was like, this was a meh book. And this has a 3.07 average, so we still haven't cracked that 3, but it's definitely down there. So that's it. That's my worst rated books on Goodreads. It actually wasn't as surprising or shocking as my best rated. There were some that weren't expected. Like, I did not expect Ready Player 2 and Better Together to be so low in the rankings. And like, they weren't even low in like the honorable mentions, they were in the lowest 10. But that's it. That's all my rated books. Thanks for coming along this 2-part series journey with me. If you haven't watched number 1, it exists somewhere on the internet, so if you would like to go and watch that, feel free. Otherwise, I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Bye.